Hello, welcome to Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Harrison-Pless. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, celebrations across Ghana tonight as opposition leader Nana Akufo-Addo sweeps to victory in the country's presidential vote. Incumbent John Mahama has conceded defeat. 5 candidates jostle for the top job at the African Union, going head-to-head in a live public debate in Addis Ababa. And Ivory Coast pays tribute to French-language film, the festival Rendezvous with Francophone Cinema, taking over theatres across Abidjan until Saturday. But first, Ghana's opposition leader Nana Akufo-Addo has clinched victory in the country's presidential election, winning an outright majority. This as his rival incumbent President John Mahama conceded defeat following Wednesday's vote. Take a listen to a spokesman for the country's electoral commission.
Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC had 4,713,277 votes, being 44.40%. Mr. Nana Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party had 5,716,026 votes, being 53.85%. It is my duty and my privilege to declare Nana Akufo-Addo as a president-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
Well, for more on our top story, let's cross to Christopher Fominio, Regional Director of the National Democratic Institute. Christopher, thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. The incumbent John Mahama... Thank you. The incumbent John Mahama said he would respect the outcome of this vote. He's admitted defeat. The NDI works closely with election observers. On the whole, the electoral process was a peaceful and successful one.
You're very right. This is a great moment for the Republic of Ghana, and Ghanaians should be extremely proud for once again showing that they can take the lead with regards to credible elections and with regards to democratic governance on the continent. The elections were very peaceful. NDI had a 30-person delegation here from 14 different countries, and today we issued a preliminary statement basically congratulating the people of Ghana for having run a wonderful election and hoping that the political leaders would give voice to the millions of Ghanaians who turned out on December 7th to vote. And what the two leaders have done this evening is really to give voice to their fellow citizens, and everyone should be extremely proud of what they've done to themselves and to their country.
Now, the election took place on Wednesday. Why did it take so long for the official results to be confirmed?
Well, normally this announcement is still within the limits of the law. I think the law allows the Electoral Commission time to be able to compile the results from the different polling sites and the different constituencies. And the Electoral Commission had said they thought they would be able to announce the results within 72 hours of the closing of voting. We should also keep in mind that on Wednesday, after voting had completed in all of the country, there was one constituency that had to vote on December 8th. And so getting all the results in, cleaning them, verifying them, and making the announcement today, December 9th, is something for which the Electoral Commission should be commended.
Now, this is the first election defeat for a sitting president since Ghana returned to multi-party democracy in 1992. What went wrong for John Mahama?
Well, one has to keep in mind that although John Mahama hasn't gotten a second elected mandate, he was first elected as vice president in 2008. Unfortunately, after the passing of the president at the time, became the head of state as per the Ghanaian constitution. So he has actually been in office for more than 4 years, and so should be commended for the work that he's done in helping consolidate democratic institutions in Ghana. I think Ghanaians have become accustomed to the fact that after every 8 years, they seem to love to give the other political party a chance. And I think the NPP, having been in opposition now for 8 consecutive years, probably drew a lot of sympathy on the part of Ghanaian voters. But there's also a context in which a number of issues were brought into the campaign with regards to strengthening democratic governance and opening up opportunities to deal with unemployment and infrastructural development. and the kinds of things that the NPP spoke to, which allowed the NPP to win even in some of the regions that in the past had voted for the NDC.
OK, well, thank you very much for your insight this evening, Christopher Fominio, Regional Director of the National Democratic Institute. Well, for more on this story, our Katerina Vitozzi reports from Accra.
I'm standing in the garden of the house of Nana Akufo-Addo, the man who on Friday evening found out that he would be Ghana's next president. The incumbent President John Mahama, who was vying for a second term, called Nana Akufo-Addo up over the telephone to concede and wish him his congratulations. Soon after that, the country's election commission confirmed that Nana Akufo-Addo had won the popular vote. You can see here I'm surrounded by supporters. There have been fireworks going off in the air. The MPP party since Wednesday have said that they have been quietly confident of victory, and now it's been confirmed and they are quiet no longer.
That was France 24 correspondent Katerina Vitozzi there. Next, Somalia's presidential election has been pushed back once again. The vote will now be held on the 28th of December and will draw the curtain on a series of delayed polls. As part of the new timetable, parliamentary elections, which have been underway since October, must wrap up by next Wednesday. Meanwhile, the election of speakers for both the lower and upper houses will take place on the 22nd of December. Somalia's electoral process doesn't follow a traditional one-person, one-vote system. Instead, only 14,000 citizens are casting their ballots out of a population of nearly 11 million people. A crowded marketplace in northeastern Nigeria brought to a standstill by deadly twin blasts. A pair of female suicide bombers attacked the town of Madagali, killing at least 56 people and wounding dozens more. No group has claimed responsibility for the bloodshed, but the Islamist militant group Boko Haram has been blamed for similar attacks in the past. Now, jostling for the top job at the African Union. 5 candidates hoping to be the next AU chief went head-to-head in a live public debate in Addis Ababa. Diplomats from Botswana, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Kenya and Senegal are in the running. The winner will replace the current AU Commission chairperson, who's stepping down in January after a 4-year stint. For all the details, our correspondent Karim Lebour reports from the Ethiopian capital.
More than a real debate, it was a very polite Q&A between candidates who never tried to interrupt each other that we have seen tonight at the African Union. No candidates made any groundbreaking proposals, but it was the first event of its kind. For the first time, candidates to the African Union chairmanship have publicly exposed their vision for the continent. They have talked about free trade, economy, women's rights, peace and security. They didn't talk about ICC or human rights. Those topics, we're told, were rejected by some of the candidates. Nonetheless, the African Union has made a great effort of transparency, even though at the end of the day it will be up to member states to decide who will be the next chairperson of the African Union. They will do so next January in Addis Ababa, and they will do so according to their diplomatic alliances, their diplomatic interest, much more than based on the debate we have seen tonight at the African Union.
Karim Lebour reporting there. To Ivory Coast now, where the country is shining the spotlight on French-language films. The curtain's gone up on Rendezvous with Francophone Cinema, a 3-day festival currently taking place in Abidjan. Many theatres were shut down in the country's capital during the 1990s, but event organisers hope these screenings will spearhead a cinema revival. Duncan Woodside and Anna Sylvester-Trenner report.
Abdul Karim Konaté's vocation was conceived here in the streets of Treichville. As a child, the Ivorian actor daydreamed in front of cinemas. But little by little, theatres here vanished.
You know, a lot of theaters have become churches. Today I see the Rio Playhouse, which has really changed. It no longer looks like a cinema. There are no more screenings or material for screenings. It hurts and feels like part of me died.
Outside, a decaying facade. Inside, a dilapidated room under renovation. A new generation is fighting to revive the cinema.
It's not easy, because we're not rich. We're not rich at all. We work with the means at our disposal. But I also think that cinema is being reborn and restored to its rightful place in Ivory Coast.
Just like Run, shortlisted at Cannes, which brought Konaté to the world's attention. For now, the slow rebirth of Ivorian film is mainly restricted to the city's big hotels. We squeeze into one of the few cinemas. But the revival is being boosted by the premieres at this Francophone film festival.
There are plenty of artists, filmmakers, comedians out there. Actually, I think it's a genre for the future, because Africa has things to reveal in its own way.
In that vein, a style of humour that mocks big man politics. Ahead of the premiere, Maman provides insight into his film.
It's talking about things which don't work in Africa and then saying, us Africans, let's take control of our own destiny and do something. We can't let others decide for us.
Welcome to Gondwana, a film dedicated to African youth.
Stay with us here on France 24. Lots more news coming up.